Hey guys, this is my first reading on a scary story I found out on, I'll put up the website in the description. But, yeah, sorry for the crappy song in the background, and sorry for the bad editing. But I hope you guys enjoy this creepy story. I haven't slept in weeks. Every time I close my eyes, all I see is his face. His dark, soulless eyes, and that twisted smile. I can't get the thought of him out of my head. Every night's the same thing. I know I'm not crazy. I saw him. I know I did. Perhaps I'm getting ahead of myself. I saw him for the first time about 3 months ago. I was home alone. My parents were out having dinner and my brother was at his friend's house. It was about 10 at night and I was getting tired. I was watching some documentary on the Vietnam War. It was particularly cold out that night and the frost covered my windows. Let me start off by saying that everybody hears noises at night that scare them. Most of the time it's nothing, but this was different. I heard something that sounded similar to nails on the chalkboard echo from my basement. I ignored it at first, but it kept on happening over and over. I eventually decided to check. I, like most kids, don't have a finished basement, so there are pipes everywhere and lots of dark corners, so it makes for a relatively terrifying experience. Especially in this situation. Regardless, I ventured downstairs with a flashlight in hand to investigate. After about 10 minutes of searching, I found nothing, so I went back upstairs. When it reached the top of the stairs, I heard a loud thump come from my bathroom. When I went in, I found a note taped to my mirror. It read, "Dear Michael, you are not alone. I'm here with you, and I'm going to be your new friend." And then I saw him. He was peering in my bathroom window, his face outstandingly white like Jeff the Killer's. But his eyes, they were much worse. They were pitch black with a streak of red, and his teeth were sharp as knives. They sat in a mouth that bled from all sides. He put his hand to the window. It was covered in scratches. The tip of his fingers were torn to the bone, and yet he smiled as if he enjoyed the agony. In his other hand he carried a meat cleaver stained with blood. He gestured for me to come towards him. The glass muffled his voice, but I could hear something like, "Come here, Michael. Don't be scared. I just want to play." I shook my head, but he said, "Why won't you play with me? I want to play hide and seek." I screamed and he disappeared. I sprinted into the kitchen and grabbed a knife from the drawer. Then I just sat there in the corner, half crying, and waited half an hour and nothing happened. So I thought I would be okay. I was probably hallucinating, right? Wrong. I slowly crept into the living room. The TV was still playing the documentary. A veteran was talking about how napalm was used to empty a VC foxhole. I sat down on the couch and started to watch. That's when I heard him again. He was singing Rockabye Baby, but his voice gave the song an air of terror. He was so much closer this time, it sounded as if he was everywhere. His eerie voice echoed off the walls and inside my head. I started crying, then he walked in the door. His smile stretched from ear to ear, literally. He wore a dark plain robe, and he was barefoot, with feet so pale his skeleton showed through them. He stared at me for what seemed like a decade, then he spoke. "Why do you fear me, Michael?" he asked. "I only want to be your friend. Can we be friends?" I shook my head and managed a word. "No." "But I'm a good guy. I promise." No, you aren't." "I am too," he sneered. "You're only hurting my feelings. You don't want to end up like the last boy that hurt my feelings." What happened to him?" I asked feebly. "Let's say that he was really good at hide and seek. No one can find him." Then I heard a car horn, and he stared me down and said, "This was a nice talk. We should do it again." And then he disappeared, just like that. When my mom came in, I was curled up in a ball. She questioned me and questioned me, but all I could say was he wanted to play. So she called the police, and I remained in a ball until they walked me to a police cruiser. They eventually got me to talk, and I told them everything. When I was done, they assured me I was dreaming, and I snapped. I began screaming at them for saying it was a dream. They said I needed therapy. I went to therapy for 2 weeks. My therapist's name was Wendy. She was nice enough, but she was really great at her job. I slowly lost all thought of the man that visited me. She said I was cured after the second week, and I went home. Everything was normal for a while. I went to school, I hung out with my friends, my life was fine, but I never slept. Granted, I never got tired either. The medication the therapist prescribed had the side effect of insomnia. But it was worth not worrying about the man that I saw. I started to believe that it was a dream, so I thought the insomnia was a good thing. If not sleeping was a price I had to pay for being rid of that man, then I wouldn't sleep again. But he came back. My parents never left me home alone after what happened. They didn't want me to go insane and tear up the house for some killer that apparently didn't exist. That didn't stop him though. 2 months ago I was watching TV with my dad. He was sleeping, but his presence comforted me. I started to get so thirsty, so I went in the kitchen to get some water. While I was grabbing a cup, an ice-cold hand closed around my mouth. Shh, you don't want to wake Daddy, do we? He whispered. I tried to scream, but he held me against the cabinets. Now we're gonna play a fun game, he jeered. It's called Bleed the Ungrateful Brat. I bit his hand and he let go. I ran into the living room and shook my dad, but he wouldn't wait. I noticed a syringe in his arm. This man, whoever he was, he drugged my dad. I turned and saw him again. What a shame, he said. Little Mickey's gonna die, and his daddy doesn't even get to watch. I knew I had to fight him. This guy wasn't going to leave, so I had to make him leave. I pulled the syringe out of my dad's arm and pointed at the man. He smiled and said, I like a challenge. Come at me. I lunged at him and he dodged, but I kicked his leg and he tripped and fell. While he was on the floor, he continued to laugh and snicker. Good boy, he giggled. I underestimated you. You are very brave. No mere child has tried to fight me like that. I ignored his praise and stuck the syringe in his arm. He flinched and then continued to laugh. I ignored his praise and stuck the syringe in his arm. He flinched and then continued to laugh. You have a brave heart, boy, he said, and then I have done my job. And with that, he got up and ran out. He left a note that read, our paths will cross again someday. I still don't know what he meant. His job still haunts me to this day. I haven't forgotten him. I still haven't slept, but my life has changed greatly. It started at school. Some kids started making fun of me, and when they did, I snapped. I put 2 of them in the emergency room and gave the other one a concussion. I don't know how it happened, but I do remembered how I stood up to the man. I got suspended for 2 weeks, but when I came back, I didn't get any crap from anybody. I didn't know if that was his job. But when I came back to school, I found a note in my locker that read, You have learned well. Your rage will save you. He signed it. ST. Like I said, I don't know what he meant, but maybe, just maybe, he had good intentions. I eventually told my friend about what happened, and he let me know about this website, so I decided to publish my findings. P.S. I don't know who you are, ST, but thank you. However, if our paths will cross again, I will kill you. So guys, this is the ending of part 1 of A Killer Lesson. And if you guys want to know how, or like what happens in part 2, like, and if we get to at least 10 likes, I will read part 2. And yeah, so like, subscribe, and hopefully I will try to do another gaming video. So yeah. Well, like I said, this is my first time reading, and sorry if there's like stuttering, and I like cut some parts out. Well, you won't know what I cut out, but some parts are cut out. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, rate, comment, and subscribe. So, yeah, this is me, Parker, signing off. And I will read you guys part 2 of A Killer Lesson.